We now have breaking news.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
What is sisterhood? It's an important element of women's empowerment. It is a bond that is formed between women that allows them to offer support and guidance to one another, where women are able to share their experiences and support one another with strength and courage, and without judgment. However, this bond is not always easy to come by, especially for Black women, who are often placed in scenarios that promote conflict within.
They have a giant
Society is full of harmful stereotypes that shape the way Black women are seen in the world and damage our relationships with others and each other. In this mini-series, you will join me and Keisha as we welcome together an incredible group of women to tackle these stereotypes head-on and highlight the importance of authentic sisterhood for Black women. Join us as we welcome Dani, the host of My Survivor Voice podcast, and Marlowe, the woke therapist, to share their insights and experiences. Some good, some bad, but all unscripted. Hey everybody, welcome back to our fifth and final episode of Unscripted. If you've been with us this far, boy, you've gotten some stuff. You've heard some stuff. You've experienced some stuff. I'm excited again to have Marlowe, the woke therapist, and Dani from Our Survivor's Voice. Hold on, Lord Jesus, I said it right, Dani?
My survivors.
See, I'm saying we all survivors,
all of
right?
We are survivors.
together.
We not gonna give up. We not gonna
The
stop.
last episode traumatized me.
Right.
My survivors. And Keisha with right here at the home team through the looking glass. So today's episode is it's a rough one. It's a rough one, and I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna start it with the quote that inspired me to put this on the docket. You know, I deal with court stuff way too much. To put this topic on the list. And that quote came from the journalist who did the R. Kelly story. That quote is, "The saddest fact I've learned is nobody matters less to our society than young Black women. Nobody." And that's a white male who said that. And when I heard that quote, it made me sick to my stomach. It really is bringing tears to my eyes right now, because we live this. We live this. And for somebody outside of our group to actually hear that what we've been saying all along, it's recognized. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want this to focus just on the R. Kelly case. That quote came from his work on that case. But when you hear that, especially coming out from somebody outside the house, outside our community, say that nobody matters less to our community than young Black women, what does that do to you? And that's for all y'all. Wow. I was just literally speechless.
A lot that comes to mind. It's not necessarily surprising though. I think that we kind of chit-chatted about that in episode 1.
And we've actually had conversations about this too, offline.
Yeah. Because I know it was the thesis I did in undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on social deviance in the Black community. And that kind of verged into more research I started doing. And it was before, because, undergrad was a long time ago for me. But anyway, we're not going to talk about all that. But anywho, but that was before this was the main topic of conversation, like tropes and things of the sort with Black women. And when I was working on that paper, it just wanted me to start doing research into like the mammy trope and all this stuff. And I named the paper, Who Am I? Right. And it was me pretty much exploring all of these different, Jezebel, like all that stuff. Like, and the thing that's funny to me now is that it's main topical conversation, but I literally stopped writing that paper. I still have it on a hard drive, but it was so emotional for me researching it that I couldn't finish it, because that was a realization I came to, is like, with all of these tropes that we're forced to fit into. And we talked about that in episode 1. I started to realize it's like we're bottom of the totem pole. Like, no one cares, because I started getting into like, missing girls, you know what I'm saying? And like how that's not on the news. That's not something that's promoted. You know what I'm saying? And all that started making me so depressed. I was like, I don't even want to research this anymore. So we're going to go ahead and disassociate and pretend none of this ever happened.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was, going through my computer files trying to be a good adult that I ended up seeing the cover of it, because it was literally a picture of me sitting on a park bench thinking, and it had all these different tropes that were pictures around it that I had as the cover. And I just got triggered, and I was like, child, look, I need to get back in here and finish this all these years later. So that, to me, it's not surprising, because it's the truth. And I think it's a truth that no one wants to say out loud. I feel the only way people would listen is if it's someone other than us that's saying it, because we've been screaming it from the rooftops.
Screaming it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, the CDC even said that Black women experience homicide rates more than double the rate of other women in the United States. That's facts. We are not just making this up.
We have a whole red pill society that's against us.
People in the country to get away from us.
Right.
Absolutely.
Big old facts.
It's sad. It
is.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
What does that quote do to you two, Dani and Keisha? What does that quote, hearing a white male recognize this?
It makes me sad, because like you said, it's all facts. There's no lie detected in that statement. I see it daily in my state where I serve, abused women. While Black women are the minority, population wise, they are the most abused statistically. They are the ones who experience abuse. They are the ones who are murdered at higher rates, but they're the minority. They're also the ones who are the least likely to receive care, but they're the most affected by the abuse. Do you see how that kind of it's an unbalanced scale? So it does make me sad to day in and day out see this, and then to hear, like you said, somebody who's not even a part of this world technically acknowledge it, when we can't get the people who we feel should be protecting us to acknowledge it.
Yes, that
hurts.
part
Hurtful. So yeah, it makes me sad, and not just sad, it kind of sickens me a bit too. You get this little feeling in the pit of your stomach where like, oh, what is that? Like, it's sickening.
Yeah, it's like we are seen or expected to be this strong woman, who is, oh, you can tolerate having a baby without the medication or the same dosage, other women that's not part of the African, American race. And it's like to be looked at like, oh, no big deal. It's not right. And it is sad. And it does make you upset just to think that somebody, would consider you to be, as a Black African American woman, someone who is like, okay, you just pretty much disregard it. Like,
yes,
whatever.
Yes. It is not just homicide either. It's all the crimes, right?
Yeah.
Sexual violence, rape, sexual harassment. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And nothing is being said. Like when Marlowe was talking about when one of us goes missing. If we don't have connections or just hella beautiful, you're not going to get on the news. You're not. Forget about it. And it's but then the next news run could be somebody who's not of our beautiful brown skin.
and they're on the newsreel media consistently. Marlowe knows that was her world. Like, what is really going on? And why are we not being protected? Why is it okay to kill us?
There was a study about that. It was a study done in media, and it was talking about what the like the national response is to people when you see certain people on news stories. And they were talking about like, like recent cases and stuff like Trayvon Martin, stuff like that. And they were saying what they found surveying people was that for Black people in general, like Black children, whether they're male or female, they're perceived as more mature than white children of an equal age. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you see like a 13-year-old Black boy, it's like he's like, right? Like a dude is how they're looking at it. Like you're a grown man, but he's a child, right?
He's a child, right?
But if you look at a 13-year-old white boy, it's a different perception. So it's like they're just kind of like surveying people and, showing different pictures of people. And the crazy thing is this was across the board. It's like even Black people didn't judge any differently. And they were saying that has a lot to do with why it is when there's white children that are missing, why people respond differently than Black children. And the thing that's scary is just like, whoa. So that kind of goes back into if we were to tear it up, that still puts us at the bottom, because like you were saying, unless you're somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're just like a regular person, like say if you were like in city council or something, and something like this person's missing, it's like, oh, city council member, But if you're just like, you work a regular job type of thing, it's that thought is like, she probably bought this on herself. She probably did something. And that's horrible.
She was dressed this kind of way.
Right. And that's what's crazy. It's like with all the crime, it's the fact that it's almost like a social schema. People's first thought is like, it has to be something that you did for this to happen.
Right.
Like, I bet she probably lives in the hood, or I bet she probably got a baby daddy. It's probably her baby daddy,
Right.
And it's the fact that like, you don't know a person, but that's the stereotype for all Black women at present, which is, it's terrifying.
And it's sad because I know, right?
It makes me so bad.
It's sad because the facts are Black women are the ones getting the education. Black women are the ones freaking getting all the things we need to succeed, but we are still not getting the respect. We're not seeing the same. You can have all type of letters behind your name. You still walk in a room, they're gonna look at you as just as if you somebody who just, I don't know. Who are you? Why are you here? And that's not right.
Not at all.
Like we are when it comes to movements, Black women can make it happen. Hell,
we're always on the front lines.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly. Who you think put some of these presidents in the office?
Right.
But our life is expendable. I can't see the connection here. I can't. And it's from birth on. It's from birth on. And then I hate to even go into this realm, but we have judgments within our own race. Because I know I might be dating myself, but I don't know if this still goes on. But there used to be the brown paper bag test.
Oh, yeah, that's real.
And you were treated differently depending on what side of that brown paper bag you fall on. And you're treated differently. I've seen it. Why?
That was a heavy New Orleans thing.
Yeah. I mean, not just in I know a lot of the perception is that was more prevalent in the South, but even in, in the Midwest, North. I grew up in Illinois, and there's 3 girls. It's myself, I'm the baby, then I have a middle sister and older sister. My oldest sister and myself are more brown complected. So we were on that fine line. My middle sister is dark skinned. She's a chocolate girl. And like, we never knew, I mentioned this before, that we have a dark sense of humor and we laugh about everything, and we really don't show our feelings to each other. But we never knew that until we got older. I'm talking grown, like 35 plus, that she felt slighted as a kid when we were younger, because people would always stop us and say, "Oh, Maddie," that's my mom, "Maddie, you have some beautiful girls. Oh, you're so pretty, Dani. Oh, you're so pretty, Russia." But then when they would get to my sister Misha, "Oh, you pretty for a dark-skinned girl."
Mm.
And she said that always stuck out to her because she heard it all the time. It was always, "You're pretty for a dark-skinned girl."
Wow.
And never knew she felt that way. So I mean, it's prevalent across the board in our communities. Like,
It is. And just hearing that gave me
Right.
goosebumps
It just
because
gave me a flashback, child.
Yeah, I've encountered that too. My sister we look a lot alike, but she's very, 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 very light, like pale. She's very light skinned, like almost like if you look fast, you're like, wait a minute, is she white? So I encountered it too growing up, though I'm not dark skinned, but if we were out and about, people would reference her to be prettier quicker and then kind of look, over like, oh, they would still say I was pretty, but then they would, oh my gosh, and so I know what that feels like. I've dealt with that.
That's messed with me. Like, I totally had a flashback of a conversation I had with a friend of mine from high school. Me and all my friends were pregnant at the same time. We did not plan it. It just happened that way. But she was having a daughter and we were sitting eating dinner. And she was like, "Oh, I just hope my daughter comes out light skinned." And I said, "Why would you say something like that?" And she snapped at me and she told me, "You have no idea what it's like." She's like, "When we were in high school," she was like, "all the white girls treated you different because you were lighter skinned. And when you jumped in the pool, your hair curled up." And I was like, "First of all, ma'am, I'm not light skinned." I was like, "I'm dark skinned. I don't know what you're talking about."
well,
And she's like, right. But she was so pissed at me, dog. Like she really was pissed. And she started crying. And when she started explaining it to me and I never knew this, like I never knew that people I hung out with, because I had friends that were all different colors, like different nationalities, like Asian girls, white girls, black, everybody, right? But I never knew they treated her funny. And it's like to hear her say that, and she was crying, saying, she's like, "I don't want my daughter to ever go through what I went through." So she was like, "No, I'm not wrong for saying that I hope that she's light skinned, because that's going to make her life better, because she won't have to go through what I went through." And that broke me, like just hearing her say that, because we had been friends all these years. I never knew. And I was like, damn. And I was like, I'm sitting up here being cool with these people, and I didn't know that they were jabbing you on the side
that way. Right.
Yeah, not inviting her to parties and stuff like that. Like, terrible. It's so terrible. I totally forgot
like you
about
said,
that.
we wouldn't know until somebody shares their experience, and then you get to see how somebody else's experience is, because you kind of live in, I don't want to say in a delusional space, but we don't know what other people's experiences are. And when we in our own communities do this, how do we expect people outside the house to make any change or see us any different? And do you feel that some of that belief kind of plays into some of this area of this concern about how Black women are treated?
Possibly to a degree. I think the colorism part is more so like inside the community. I think the abuse of Black women is across the board, in the community and out of. And like you said, it starts from birth. We've all heard about how babies are ranked when they're born and they're in the nursery or the NICU, and black little girls are just expected to thrive because they usually do. But then that cloud hangs over their head as they grow up. You're expected to be able to just make it, and you shouldn't need all this support, and you should be able to do it on your own. And I think that is what forces, other people or outsiders, I will say, to, look at us as, like, oh, they'll be all right. That's why we are considered expendable, because it's like, oh, they'll be fine.
And have you noticed, and I'm because all of us are in a field where we're working with people. Have you noticed? I know I'm saying this, but because it pisses me off. I'll have a Black worker who will answer or do an intake for another Black female and be so harsh and be so dismissive. But another race comes in and they don't act that way. And when I see it, I call it out. Explain to me why you're talking to this woman so harshly. Explain to me why you are not offering this woman the same services when she came in here with the same situation. The only difference is she was a Black woman. Have y'all seen that?
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen it even in the store. You can, I think I was like in a Michael Kors store or something like that. And it was like, hey, how are you? I walked in, hey, and then you kind of walking around watching, you're not asking. But then if somebody else, another female comes in, that's not even, we're not the same race. It's all of this extra. So, I don't know. And this was from a sales rep that was African American.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are so hard on each other.
Right.
I definitely have seen it, especially in the work we do. Like you said, you come in with the exact same situations, and
Right.
this non-Black woman is offered every resource under the sun. Oh, we can
Mhm.
get you housing. Oh, we can get you, shelter for tonight. We can get you a food voucher and a transportation card and all of these things. And then the Black woman might say, well, I need to feed my kids tonight. Well, you don't get food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Give her a food voucher just like you gave Sally.
Right.
Right.
Now. So yeah, and again, I think it's just that because, and this goes also back to a couple episodes ago, just because I can doesn't mean I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I think they see that, oh, well, she does it. She's been doing it all this time and doing it by herself, and she will be okay. Like, but again, just because I can and I have made it work doesn't mean I have the strength to keep making it work. I
Right.
need a little break too. Give me some grace just like you give the next one. And that's something that society does not give us. We don't get enough grace, if any.
Right. We don't.
If any.
Mhm.
Like, how many times have we seen, headlines of, Black women who may have acted less than appropriate in a certain situation, and she is drugged up and down timelines in the comment sections over and over again. And you can have what they call Karens now, whatever, acting appropriately, racially inappropriately, and they might get a little backlash, but they are, it's more comical than it is for Black women. Like when you see Karen's acting crazy, it's, oh, she, people are making jokes. Oh, she a Karen and haha, this, oh, they should have done this. But then when a Black woman acts inappropriate and it's caught on camera, it's, oh, she is just the scum of the earth. And oh, that's what you get when you get it out of ghetto. And this is, they are just, it's ridiculous.
That reminds me, literally, this is a few weeks ago. My cousin and I went to go have drinks after work, and we're sitting at the bar in this restaurant, and like we got like, little appetizers or whatever, but just the condition that the food was in when it was set in front of us, I was like, and then my cousin looked at it, she was like, and she put her head down, she took a deep breath, and she said, here comes the most challenging moment. And I said, what do you mean? She said, being a Black woman, needing to be assertive without coming off as aggressive. And the fact that she said that, dude, I was like, damn, dude. Like that just hit me, because the fact that she said out loud what I've thought to myself so many times in similar situations of just like, okay, let's code switch a little bit. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. So don't want to bother you. Like the fact that I go through that in my mind, but just hearing her say it out loud was just like, this is really what we do. Like, this is so second nature.
It's sad. Me and Keisha have to help each other write emails crafted.
Yep.
Soft. We have
so I'm not the only one who does that. Okay.
Yeah, because
that makes me feel, because I'm like, girl, what you think? Do that sound? That's all right. Okay.
But I think it's all of us. It's our experience. And I don't think people don't get it.
Right.
No,
Right.
not at
Because
all.
why do I have to censor myself to tell you
Right.
that this is not okay? This order is not okay.
Right.
I should not eat that amount of anxiety should not hang over my
Right.
head to get my
Mhm.
food right.
Right.
I just want to eat. That's it.
Right.
And just talking about this
Mm.
stuff is just bringing stuff to the surface for me where it's like, this is our existence, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This is our existence. And
Mhm.
and we have lived it so long and seen it so much that we are just, this is just how it is.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure now you're teaching your children, don't say it this way, sit this way, don't act this way, when our counterparts don't have to do this.
No. Mm-mm. No.
And they don't get why we're so freaking tired.
Right. Right.
They don't get why we might be a little bit agitated.
Mhm.
And oh, by the way, you're killing us too. Like, damn, can we catch a break?
Tired of dying.
Like, really? We can't write emails. We can't get our food. And then you're killing us too? Like,
Right.
can we not get a break?
Mhm.
And when we do ask for help, we don't get the same respect. We don't get the same services. If I show up in an emergency room, it's going to be, hey, depends on who's there.
Right. Right.
And they want to know why we're so tired.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, we got to try to end this on a high note. Let's see.
Right.
Is there one?
Ugh.
Is there one?
Is there one?
Oh, Jesus. All right. We got to.
God.
Jeez.
Like we should sing, "We shall overcome."
We shall overcome.
Oh. Oh, God. One day. One day.
Lift
a long
every
time coming.
voice and sing.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, y'all. And you know what makes Black women so amazing? We are able to laugh. Even though all
Right.
four of
Yeah.
us are hurting right now,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we are still able to laugh. And I think that resilience in us is unmatchable. Is unmatchable.
Mhm.
To know where we stand in America, in the world's viewpoint, and we are still here to talk about it and can still laugh.
Mhm.
I think that's the high point right there. That we can talk about it and be honest and say that this hurts, but we're still smiling. We're still pushing. I think that's the high point.
Definitely. First step to healing is acceptance.
You're right.
Mhm.
We accept that this is the way it is, but we shall not take it sitting down.
No,
Right.
no, we're not. And in conversations like this, I think have to be the first step, and they have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What's that quote? Langston Hughes about the meek. I gotta find it, because one thing I will not do is misquote Langston Hughes, because I love him. He ain't never met me, but look, if I was alive when he was alive, I know there was some questionable sexuality with him. But hey, it's just because he ain't never met me, so I will not misquote Langston Hughes. But his poem, Negroes sweet and docile, meek, humble, and kind, beware the day they change their mind.
Woo! Woo! Come on, Mr. Hughes.
That's heavy.
I love that man. What? I don't know if he reincarnated, but you can find me.
Right? You gonna show up to my hers, was looking for me.
Oh my God.
Watch I get some weird ass email. Okay.
Right. This is Langston. I was Langston Hughes in my former life.
My bad life.
Right.
I know you don't know me,
Right.
but you called for me. I heard you. But beware the day they change their mind. And I think that needs to be heard. That needs to be heard. So as we wrap up this final episode of this amazing miniseries, stay tuned for the live episode, because the guys are eager beavers to get on live with us, because they said they got questions, they said they got statements,
Oh boy.
So this is
Should
going to
be
be interesting. But we're also going to make it live, meaning we'll be streaming it. So we'll be able to take comments live from you all. So if you all want to jump in on that conversation, we would love to have you, because that's the whole way to get this boat turned around, right? It takes a while to get the Titanic turned around, but we got to start somewhere. So as we close out episode 5, final episode, say adieu to the wonderful, wonderful people by letting them know where to find you. And what things you got going on. Whew. And yeah, if there's anything you want to end with this topic, yeah, throw that in there too.
So,
I will say, wait.
go ahead, Marlowe.
No. I was just going to say hashtag no iceberg. Because you said it took a while for the Titanic to turn around. So I just wanted to say hashtag no iceberg. Want to throw that out there. Y'all can find me at the
it apparently took too long for that one to turn around. So I don't want it. Well, let's not sink this ship.
Right.
Or the best quote I heard, other than it takes a while to turn was it don't matter what seat you have on the Titanic. It didn't matter.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Well, where is this coming from?
Unless you were in steerage.
It didn't matter the deck, no matter how much.
No, right? Unless you were close enough to the rafts.
Unless you was in steerage or you was working in the boiler room, then it ain't really turned out too good, you know.
Yeah.
But that's not it. Why am I so dark? I'm supposed to be telling people where to find me.
Yes. Okay.
I am a terrible human being. I'm the woke therapist on Instagram and TikTok, and everything else is being rebranded. So just Google me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, goodness. Okay. The only last thing I have to say is, if you need help as a Black woman, if you find yourself in a situation of abuse, any kind, I don't care what kind it is, reach out to somebody. My inbox is open. My email is mysurvivorvoice@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram at mysurvivorvoice, and I have a nonprofit for abused women as well, and it is at Our 3 Inc., and we are Our 3 Memorial Foundation. OUR, the number 3 Memorial Foundation, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please reach out. Don't sit in it alone.
And you can find me at the Looking Glass podcast. I've said it over and over again, all the other areas. Start there, and we'll just continue. If you need anything else.
Y'all, she hanging in. She passed her bedtime, y'all. She trying.
Oh, yeah.
Trying. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram, obviously, on our the Looking Glass podcast Instagram page, our Facebook page, and Michelle in Wonderland on TikTok. But thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, thank you for hearing us. Thank you for giving us the space. Thank you for giving us the time. And thank you for taking what we're saying seriously. Because so often when we do voice these concerns, we're looked at as being problematic. We're looked at as being aggressive. We're looked at as being somebody who just complaining. That's not what we're doing. We're asking to be seen. We're asking to be heard. We're asking to be treated with respect. So if you made it this far, thank you. Let us hear from you. And if you want to collaborate on anything else where we're moving the goalpost, getting closer to the end goal here, reach out. The Looking Glass fans and all the other social medias that we listed. So as always, thanks so much for hanging out with us in Wonderland. You guys take care, stay safe, and be well.